My name is Lambert Cote. A little bit about myself. I'm 67 years old, born and raised on Cote First Nation. I moved away from Cote for about 30 years. I worked with the government for 25 years. I'm retired now. I'm retired from the government, and I worked in various organizations, non-profit organizations for the longest time, and I pretty well worked all my life. And sitting on council, I believe I have a lot of resources within me that I can help with my First Nations people. Well, some of the challenges and barriers that I've overcome is like challenges was me working with the government, the white community. That is my challenge, and I learned how to have an influence on the kids than a white person would, because just for the simple fact that when I came into a room with the residents, I just tell them, respect. If you respect yourself, you respect me, then we'll get along. And the barriers, well, it's just walking through life that I look upon, and I accomplished a lot. I feel I accomplished a lot in life. The case because we lost our language, and this is one of the main things I want to get back is my language within the community. Our kids, our schools, our elders have lost, like I said, we've lost a lot of good elders, and now I guess it's more or less my turn to come up to the bat for the elders, because and I got to get back to knowing my language, and that's one of my barriers is the loss of language, and I'm trying to get back. I am proud to be a member of Cote First Nations because I watched, like I said, I watched my community grow at one point in life. I watched my community fail at one point, and it failed measurable for 20 years. Back in the day, I've seen our community strive with leaders that were willing to work with our community, that brought a lot of things into our community that we've lost, and like Cote Wood Industries, for instance, our Cote Band Workshop for housing, all of those stuff and these are just a couple items that I'm bringing forward that we had lost. But now today, I feel that with this young group that's within the chief and council, they're smart, they're outgoing, they know what they're doing, and I just sit and watch them what they're doing, give them advice if need be. And I just, me being the eldest on chief and council, that gives me the right to counsel these kids and what they're doing. Communication can be strengthened through, like with the technology that we have today in society, like with our laptops, our cells, our cells, and just going on the internet type of thing, getting all the information. Like we have a website here, a website for our band members, and they go on that website just to check out the information, what up to date on what we're doing, where we're at. Even like some of our finances are on there, and we're not scared to hide our finances. We will eventually show them our finances, and having our what do you call it, our band assemblies, having those and giving the information out there, and getting each councillor to speak on their portfolios, and just giving them up-to-date info. Speak it to a certain extent. I do speak it. I know some sentences, but as time goes on, like I said, I want to learn my full language. But no, I'm not fluent in my language, but I do understand it. And like I said earlier, I'm going to eventually learn it and teach the kids. Like I like listen to the elders. Like I just listen with my ear to the side and listen to them speak, and it's so awesome to hear that language. And I just wish I could, like back in the day when my brother was living, I gave him a smoke. Brother, I said, Nate, you speak to me every word. Every time I see you, you speak to me in my language. And that's what he done. He spoke to me in my language, and that was so awesome. I just miss him. Listening to hear him speak to me in our language, and it was so lots of fun and seriousness. Yeah. My cultural practices I'd like to see more of in our communities, our language, like I spoke earlier. Our languages, our land-based teachings on the land, taking the kids out to the land, teaching them how to set up teepees, the sweat lodge ceremony, all of that stuff. We still have those, but it has to be bought out more. Yeah, within our area, our tourists should be protected because of the history that we have in our community. Chief Gabriel Cote, he's my great grandfather, and he has his campgrounds. Some of those campgrounds are hidden by Duck Mountain Provincial Park there in the valley. A lot of history behind that area. What could help strengthen our community in the future is like our leaders. Our leaders they're very knowledgeable right now. They're young and vibrant, and they're just gung ho right now. They're just giving her, and just having these young people, well educated young people. These young people graduated and they know what they're doing. So for one thing, we've been applying for a lot of grants, whatever that we need in our community that would really help our community, our children, especially our children, with the splash parks that we want to do, the walkway parks, the new skating rink we have here. That would really help our community. Also, the land that we're buying, and employment really would be a big benefit to us, eh? And a lot of our young people are still out there, and we have, like any other place, we have a drug problem. But if we can tackle that ASAP, then we'd be in a better situation, I'd say, a better place.
My name is Judge Cote. I'm the portfolio holder for the economic development for Cote First Nation. A bit about myself. I come from the Cote First Nation. I grew up there for the majority of my life, and once I was 18, I went out to the local city, Yorkton, Saskatchewan, and I had the opportunity to finish my education there, and as well as receive some employment to keep me going. And then once given the opportunity for the nation, I managed to get back in, and I've been enjoying it ever since. Some of the challenges I faced were education. It was a bit of an issue during my high school years, but getting back in there with the adult education has been very beneficial, and it's opened up a lot of doors for me. Further to that, I've been able to pursue trades, and I had a chance to use mechanics for some time, and then eventually shifted gears and ended up in Cote First Nation. Cote First Nation is definitely setting trends with its development, definitely setting examples for our fellow nations out there in Saskatchewan. We've been working diligently to encourage our growth on the nation, as well for our youth, for our economic development, for our membership in general. Cote First Nation is a growing nation. The biggest challenge for Cote First Nation would be the drugs and addictions. A lot of our members, suffer with these side effects. We need to tackle all of these serious issues with that, as well as get out there and outreach our members to encourage them to seek the supports that we currently have available. We currently have a number of supports available for drugs and addiction. I'm proud to be from Cote First Nation because we've been able to set a number of examples for our fellow nations. We've been fortunate enough to have been blessed with great resources, great outreach programs for our members. I just feel we are very supported. Ways we can strengthen community, our social pages, our social networks we have currently. Other ways we could do that is our newsletters that we have rolled out, general assemblies for our members to give updates from our council portfolios, and as well just word of mouth and sharing the good word. One goal that comes to mind would be economic development for Cote First Nation to grow to the standards of any municipality in Saskatchewan, to be able to offer any services for our members that they require. I do not speak my Saulteaux language. There's been some challenges with the learning and the dissemination of the information, but definitely searching to get my language back. I feel what is needed for myself to practice my traditional and cultures is the inclusion. I've definitely been able to be more included more recently. I've been given the chance to experience my culture. I'd like to see more cultural practices for the medicine gathering, any of the resources that we have available in our nation, to be able to use them for their intended purposes. as well, being able to get out on the land. The importance of language revitalization in the community is very important. Cote First Nation in particular is at definitely low numbers for the amount of members who can speak the language, understand the language. It's very important that we teach our members, old and young, to be able to learn and understand this language. Most important issues that need to be addressed in the community plan are the drugs and addiction that many of our members face, the wellness and well-being of our members health-wise. Our youth, they need to be more included in our day-to-day business, as well as housing. Housing is another serious issue within our community. I believe the Cultural and Wellness Center for Cote First Nation would be a great benefit. As I mentioned previously, drugs and addiction are a big thing, as well as youth inclusion. This center could house a majority of different programs that include drugs and addiction and our youth. It would be very beneficial to utilize a center like such.
My name is Darlene Bryant. I'm a member of the Cote First Nation and I am the house director. Well, I'm a mother, a grandmother, great-grandmother. I've belonged to Cote since 2001. I married Michael Wayne Bryant and transferred into Cote at that time. Well, some of the challenges I believe is it stems from childhood. In childhood, I grew up mostly in a residential school. I've been an orphan. Social problems that, I've become aware of what they are, and I've become aware of how it affects each and every one of us. The main strength that I see is the human resources that we have. I believe there's a lot of people that have the knowledge and the know-how, and sometimes it's just a little guidance, and I really see a difference from when I first became a member of Cote First Nation to what it is now, and I see a lot of improvements happening. The biggest challenge, I think, is trying to overcome all the social issues that we deal with. Like, we deal with poverty, we deal with the housing, we deal with the addictions, we deal with, overcome the pandemic, and there's certain things that affect our daily living, our daily lives, and I believe it affects many of the people. I'm proud to be from Cote First Nation because I see many successes. I see a lot of people working together and trying to make that positive change. I see the children, speaking out more. People are speaking out more, becoming more having bigger voices. I believe there needs to be more information meetings. I believe there needs to be more interaction with one another. Well, I think one of the changes that I believe in the children, and I believe that by providing the healthy educational and activities that we have going on through our youth center, I believe by building up our children now and teaching them, by letting them know maybe what path we've gone down, and how to avoid things like that. Showing them a healthier lifestyle, I believe, will affect the future, because I believe they are the future. They're going to be our leaders, and if we teach them right now, teach them the right way right now, they are the ones that are going to make the biggest change. I speak a little bit, not much, but I understand. So they need to reach out more. Those that are into the ceremonies, that are into practicing their culture, those that have the knowledge to teach others are the ones that need to reach out and maybe entice or somehow make it more inviting for others to come in and learn and and learn the right way. And there needs to be one way. We can't have everybody going off in different direction, practicing this, practicing that. So there has to be the protocols and the ways that the Cote First Nation have passed down needs to remain intact. It remembers all the people of Cote, so the last names are all on the monument, and so it's like trying to make it into a peaceful area where people can go and sit and meditate, or just go out and enjoy the peace and quiet. So I see language revitalization as something that we need to promote. We need to make sure that the language is something that is passed down. We have, and we've asked for different ideas on how this can be done. And when they have the French immersion, maybe we can have a Soto immersion. Maybe we can do a 1 day a week where everybody talks nothing but Soto, and so we can or a word of the day, or just promoting the language and learning. We need to work together. We need to be able to understand where we come from. We need to understand our needs, and I see that coming about with the community plan that we have for Cote First Nation. I see the planning process taking place. I see a huge improvement in the way things are being run. It's more professional manner, and it's I believe we have a lot of respect from different communities and from different agencies that Cote First Nation is succeeding in promoting its First Nation and in trying and bringing about successful ideas.
My name is Reginald Severite, better known as Reg or Reggie. A little bit about myself. I was born in the Cote First Nation tribe, Soto, white man's word for Anishinaabe. I was born in 49. Basically, when I was a kid, there was harmony with families and stuff, but liquor broke out in our community. So from there on, it was sort of a dysfunctional bringing up. My parents parted. Unless I left here in 72. Went to the streets of Winnipeg to finish my education. I got grade 12 in adult education in Winnipeg. I worked in the addictions field for I don't know how many years, quite a while. Up to date, I've been basically helping with our traditional way of life, the spiritual lodges and stuff. That's what I mainly do nowadays. I went through a lot of training programs. I got a degree in chemical addictions. But my biggest and most favorable accomplishment to this day, and still accomplishing, is learning about our traditional way of life. That, to me, has no paperwork to it. It's in the heart, in the mind, and it is a wonderful life. The greatest strengths I see of my community, Cote First Nation, is leadership. Is leading us out of the muddy waters presently, and we are accomplishing things like we're getting a new rink just next door here, and we're getting our land back. Some of our land back, our hunting traditional territory, we're getting that back. And I think the other thing is they're totally focused on the addictions of our people. And our people are always been number one in sports, but recently we kind of went down on that, but we're building back up again. The biggest challenge I see for Cote First Nation is recovering from addictions, which is brought on by residential school abuses. And also, that's very rarely mentioned, is our warriors came back addicted and traumatized, and as a result, passed it on to myself. That is the biggest challenge I see. Well, I'm proud to be a part of Cote First Nation, to be born to this community. Is because I still speak the language which was passed on to me, the traditional values I was taught. It taught me to be proud of myself, who I am, continuing to speak the language. And like I mentioned today, now I help primarily with ceremonial lodges and our way of life. Communication could be strengthened by daily conversations, daily meetings, weekly meetings. Especially with our youth, we need to communicate more with our youth. That needs to be strengthened. And our athletes, they need to be encouraged more by parental support and community support. The biggest goal right now that would really make an impact on our people is retaining and continuing the language that has been almost lost now. That is the biggest goal. That would strengthen our people. It would give personal identity to who they are. And it would lead right back to where our forefathers. So I do speak the language. However, the language almost dwindled with the residential school era. The thing that kept in me with my language, my dad talked to me before I got on a bus when they come and took me away to residential school. He told me in the language, Ikaw ikaw ni ke we alis na kasi mini guys yan kasi kagi kito wege nagamonan. He said, don't forget our language and don't forget our songs. And that's always stuck in the back of my mind during residential school. But I've always been very traditionally oriented. What I feel is needed in our community to practice traditional and our culture is more gatherings. There is too much push-button life, which I call the white man's way. We need to go back to the land. We need to continue finding out what respect is all about. Manachitiwin in our language, and to have more gatherings, to bring our people back, which is difficult right now. But we have to find a way to bring our people back. Well, the cultural practices I would like to see more, which I have done already, is land-based healing strategies, going back to the land, bringing our older people together out there and teach the younger generation about the land and how our forefathers survived. That's what I would like to see more of. Events are slowly dwindling, in my opinion anyway. We need to do that seasonally, more in the summer in fact, and fall. And I'm sure we're going to have some success in that land-based healing strategies. The Assiniboine River that runs through Cote, basically, and Madge Lake, and the place we call Runnymede Hills. That was our primarily hunting area, and north, the Peepaw should be protected more. The importance of language, we do not have an identity unless we speak the language. That is a powerful tool that the Creator gave us. And also with our lodges, our ceremonial lodges, we cannot speak English in those lodges. You speak English in those lodges, the prayers are not going to go. We were given that language to pray to the Creator. We have to use the language in those lodges.
My name is Jersey Badger and I'm from Cote First Nation. I grew up on Cote First Nation and I'm 17 and I'm graduating next week. Play sports, grew up playing organized sports since I was about 7 years old. Some of the greatest strengths I see in our First Nation is the support for our youth. I feel the biggest challenge in Cote First Nation is the addictions. I'm proud to be from Cote First Nation because they helped me a lot, like with my sports and school. I feel we can strengthen communication within the community using social media. No, I don't speak the subtle language, but I'd like to learn. I feel like we need to have more interaction between youth and elders, because like elders know a lot and they could teach the youth. I feel it's important for language revitalization because we need to keep the traditions going, and if we don't learn, then it'll get lost for future generations. In the future, I see myself going to get my bachelor's degree in Indigenous education and coming back to teach in Cote First Nation.
My name is Raquel Shingus. I am from Cote First Nation. A little bit about myself is I am a grade 12 graduate from the Parkland College in Yorkton. I am currently a university student at the First Nations University in Canada. I am majoring in Indigenous social work. Some of the challenges and barriers that I've faced in my life are related to loss and grief and intergenerational traumas. How I overcame challenges in my life were with the support of my nation and my families alongside of my life. The greatest strength of Cote First Nation is the leadership. The leadership holds consistency and transparency and inclusiveness in their decisions and actions towards Cote First Nation. The biggest challenge I see in Cote First Nation is housing. The supply and demand of housing in Cote First Nation needs to be looked at, and some improvements along the way to meet those demands. I am proud to be from Cote First Nation because of my strong family ties I have to the nation. My ancestors and my family lived on these lands and worked the lands by hand. One goal that would benefit our community would be pushing for education in our youth, pushing for elementary, high school, and post-secondary education for our community will very strengthen our people. I am a beginner speaker. I am currently learning the language and starting to practice along the way. More opportunities to meet with elders and knowledge keepers, both female and male, to learn essential life teachings such as rites of passage. I would like to see more cultural practices such as land-based practices, learning the lands and learning the animals, learning how to pick medicines and which medicines they are, learning the structure of teepees, for example. To my knowledge, there are historical sites and items such as Chief Gabriel's historic rifle needs to be protected, and traditional lands such as the Elders Lodge. I see language revitalization extremely crucial and important to our people. Language is the origin of who we are and connection to our culture. Approaches to strengthen communication in my community would be visual and inclusiveness on discussions pertaining to Cote First Nation. I'm in my second year of Indigenous social work. I am going for my Indigenous social work to become a mental health and addictions counselor for First Nation communities and urban settings.